My spirit carries me
before.
I had to, kind of one of my goals was to try to get that training facility down there by the fire station, using it.
Sure.
And, one time at COG, I gave a spill about it, and I had everybody kind of on board with it. They liked the conversation about Hammond talk and fire chief talk. And then they just dropped it, because each one of those towns has their own training facility.
Right.
You could have one major one there, put all kinds of programs, put their money together or whatever. it was.
We pay so much money on your double stuff.
Everything.
Yeah.
Dispatch, everything, yeah. I can't understand that.
That's territorialism.
Well, I think that the county can make it work. And now with this program they got,
Oh,
they could, they could use it.
don't forget to log in, Mayor, since I set your bookmark wrong.
She was.
Met a new clerk.
Not yet. Oh, I thought about it, but I wasn't.
We were at the meeting.
Of the
Ira
minutes,
told me about it.
like the goals?
Huh?
You gotta be the
Yeah,
clerk.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm surprised we go live on
quite a ways.
Facebook.
Yeah, you can fix it, you're the one.
That's good.
I will print it.
That's what Jerry Steele should be.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think you should get the yardstick out measure. Not a very good one, but here's one. Does it work?
Not here, so it's a little. I looked in here.
Neither does the, I don't know, technically neither does the maximum number of people in the room.
Trying to take that one back there.
That's because I'm just here to do the,
Patty, did you want to sit here?
absolutely not.
Feel free to.
Thanks for asking.
Chime in when you need to.
Mr. Spartus.
Hi, Patty.
Hi, sweetie.
How are you?
I'm really good. It's good to see you.
Same.
Is everybody ready?
Erin's on the way, but I think we could get started.
I'm not in,
Alrighty.
but I don't care. I'll catch it up.
We can wait a minute.
Martha, you don't have my pass or my username.
No. I can go look it up. And we won't need this for.
Okay. I had it this afternoon,
Isn't it your first initial last name?
but I saw it and I'm putting it in.
Is your caps lock on? Well, and some people, like, Sean had to be like something else because SMAT cap was already taken in board docs.
Oh,
So some people's are different.
oh, I bet with Smith is.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pretty popular.
But I can go.
Sorry to be a pest. Guess what? I have it.
Yay.
Alrighty.
Well, hi, Aaron.
Well, hello, everyone.
How are you?
Oh, well, how was everybody?
Yeah, where's when it's here?
I'm sorry for being late.
We haven't started yet.
4 minutes, we haven't started. Okay.
We were gonna blame Linda, now we're gonna blame you.
Well, you're welcome for that.
She's glad you're here.
We'll take the blame wherever we can get it, right?
That's right.
Well, we don't have it quite. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Thank you.
Room there?
Oh, yeah.
Since this is a workshop, I'm just gonna go ahead, okay?
And
Please,
then while you log in.
please do, please
All
do.
right. All right, we'll call this meeting to order, work session at 6:05. And on the agenda tonight is, we're going to listen to the Rollins Ranch Golf Course Advisory Board. And so at this time, I would turn it over to the board.
Well, thanks for meeting with us. We as a board have been talking for, maybe 6 months, 7 months about getting together, mainly to update you about some of the things that we've been looking at. Also going over some of our numbers and some of the projects that we've been looking at. And also, I think you have an agenda. Do you have our agenda in front of you?
Yes, in our board docs.
So, and also we wanted to talk about the restaurant and kind of what we've been talking about on the restaurant usage for this year, or how it's going to be handled this year. So, to start out with, we've been kicking around a lot of ideas about, how to use the golf course more than just for golfing, have more community involvement in the golf course. And we've kicked around a lot of ideas, and some of them are on the agenda here. This isn't a wish list. This is just some of the things that we've talked about. Some of them obviously are going to cost money. Some of them maybe not, and some of them probably won't cost much money. But some of the things that we've been kicking around are ice skating on one of the ponds in the wintertime, using the running and walking trails more, 4 runs, 4 walks, open it up.
For biking too.
And also biking. And then we've looked at golf sports simulators. And this is kind of a, with Top Golf going on. I don't know, I've never been to a Top Golf, but these guys have. And, it's kind of a growing thing now to use golf simulators. And we've done some price work. Jared Steele did some price work on it. Maybe these guys can kick in on talking about the simulators. I think Philip's seen them and knows more about them than I do.
Yeah, I've checked into them quite often just because they're going up in so many places. Like Casper has 2 separate places now where they have, the one I think has 6 simulators and the other one has 4 or 5. I'm not sure on exact. And they're really tight with their numbers. We've called to try to get numbers from them to see what they charge per hour and stuff like that. They don't want to really give a lot of that information out at all, but so, we'd still like to do some more research to get exact numbers on what it would do to help. I know some of the other golf courses around have put them in for like the Golf Pro to help give lessons and to try to generate more community involvement out there. Something to do in the wintertime out there, try to make that place used year round. We have the employees already. If we can get something to keep people going out there to keep it in mind, to maybe raise some money on the liquor side of it. If we get a vendor in there for food, to get the vendors, working more to help them out to keep it going out there year round. But, we've gotten some numbers. They range, depending on what size a simulator and how fancy you want to get, they range anywhere from 10,000 clear up to 60,000, And I think you could do some type of leagues with the golf simulator. Most of the golfers that golf all summer, they like to swing clubs all winter. And we go other places to golf. And if we could do some type of simulator, you might be able to do golf leagues just like they do pool leagues and just like they do dart leagues and get people out there throughout the winter too. So,
Just out of curiosity, how much room does one of those simulators take? And the second question to that will be, like if you're going to do a tournament, do you need more than 1? Do you need 10? Tell me about that.
It kind of depends on how you would set up your tournament. I've looked into it pretty heavily in the previous years. I don't have the numbers right here. Oh, here it is right here. So a room is supposed to be about 15 to 16 foot wide and 19 to 22 foot deep and about 11 foot tall ceilings. So if they wanted to get rid of the restaurant part of that, you could put probably 2, possibly 3 simulators in there. But most of the simulators, when you get to the upper level of simulators, you can't set them up and then take them down for the summer. Once you set them up, they're always set up to read the ball and everything. So it's one of those that it almost needs another building attachment to the existing building that we have, or downsize the restaurant area to do it. And what was the second part of the question?
How many would it take to like do a tournament? Do you have to have 2 or do you have to have 10 or?
It kind of depends on how you'd want to set up the tournament. You could set it up to where they had tee times. You could do it with 1. You could set up tee times, but it would probably take out the full week to do like a tournament. Same way with leagues, you just have to set up tee times. Ideal probably would be 2, so you could get, you could get it done in a 2-day span instead of a 5 or 6 day span. So.
And ideally, yes, we'd like to have a building out there just for that. But it doesn't necessarily just have to be golf either, because some of these simulators have other sports involved in them. I've seen them with soccer. I think they have them with hockey. With the screens as well. And it's just behind the one screen that does multiple sports.
So is the restaurant 11 foot high?
Yes, because this has the big
I
ceilings.
didn't pay much attention, I guess. I've been out there a million times, but.
The bar side, no, but the restaurant side, yes.
Because, what we talked about is the restaurant kind of feeding off of the simulator and vice versa. Kind of ideally, they kind of work in tandem, so that people can have snacks, the bar is open, and play the simulator, and then, the simulator brings in revenue into the restaurant and vice versa, hopefully. And, like Philip said, we don't have, they're not sharing a lot of the revenue numbers with us, so we haven't looked at the revenue side of it in very much detail.
It's one of those, I'm just gonna have to take a day and go golf somewhere, and find out the revenue, how much it costs.
Yeah.
Sounds like Mike's place is good to go. It really does, yeah.
Is it, now these simulators that are up in Casper, they're in like bars and restaurants and, are they?
Golf complex.
Yeah, they kind of set up their own complex. So one is like a Quonset building, kind of what they did. And it's down on like the old downtown part. And they set it up, they have like 5 of them. They don't have a restaurant per se with them. You can get drinks, but they don't really have a restaurant. And the other one, I think they set that up as more of a pub type thing where you can get, grilled foods and alcohol and stuff like that. Trying to set it up kind of more like the Top Golf, which if you haven't been to a Top Golf, basically it's an outdoor driving range that has heaters, and alcohol, and food. So.
And this building would have to be heated?
Yeah.
What would be the chance, I know it's away from the clubhouse, but that old locker room really isn't used for much, right? What would be the chance at putting it out there instead?
See, and we've kind of talked about that in some of the meetings, and I think the biggest part with that would be the alcohol and the food. You wouldn't be able to do food out there because the food would be clear over in the restaurant side. So, we've kind of brought that up because they've got their storage out there too. And same thing, it just, you have it out there, the food would turn into an issue and the alcohol would turn into an issue. And I'm not sure if the liquor permit would let you serve alcohol in that building. That might be another issue there with the liquor permit. I know it'll let you serve around the course, but I don't know if it'll let you serve in the building.
So is there no one for the restaurant right now? Because I thought the one dude was going to, that just must have fallen through, huh?
Yeah, last we knew the edit. So, yeah.
We've got that on the agenda, but we'll kind of address where we're at on that and what we thought about the restaurant for this year. If, once we get through this, but I think Jackie, you have a question.
Have you guys considered hosting like wedding? Having it wedding venue?
We've talked about everything under the sun, but trying to focus a little bit.
Yeah, I think.
If you do the wedding though, how do you have an area if you want them to stay? You have to, it's not big enough for a large wedding. You'd have to have a tent brought in and that kind of expense.
And then that wedding thing all goes clear back to the vendor. Now we don't have a vendor, we don't have a place for the alcohol, you know. If we did it as a city staff, the staff that we have for the golf, it's not quite enough people to run a wedding, so then bringing in more staff for the restaurant for that type of thing. So,
I had a guy call me and he started out chewing me out about something else and ended up with talking about the golf course, and it ended up kind of an okay conversation because he mentioned that, and I talked to Philip a little bit about this, some sort of a hybrid grub hub type thing where you go into the restaurant, the venues are there for all the restaurants in town that want to participate. They bring the food. And the one byproduct of that might be getting the restaurants around town to help promote the golf course instead of sometimes doing the other. I don't know how feasible, and it would take a lot of work to get that set up and get everything right about it, but that might be an option for the food, because running a restaurant, I owned one, and I should have just paid people to go someplace else. I'd have made more money, you know.
Well, and that one's hard too, because of the seasonality of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just gonna be a barrier.
Well, since we're
Do you-
here, though, maybe
do you
we
think-
talk- Maybe we talk about the restaurant, and that's a good thought. That's one thing that I don't think we've ever talked about. I mean, what we do have some nibbles, you know, what we talk about on the board is the best way, in our opinion, to handle that restaurant is have a vendor come in, have a concessionaire come in, like it has been in the past with Bunkers or when Cormac had it. And, you know, we've had several in there rather than run it with city staff. And we've had some bites, and I think we have a nibble now for vendor interest. And what we talked about is keep pursuing that avenue for a vendor, and then have a kind of a drop dead date of April 1st. As far as if we don't find a vendor by that time, then our thought is we run it similar to what we did last year with a few changes. You know, we run with city staff, but have a manager come in. I mean, one of the things that we've talked about in great detail since I've been on the board, which is a year, is that we need our golf pro to be a golf pro. And and lately he's been golf pro, restaurant manager, caretaker, whatever else he does. So, you know, and I believe, and you know, we can talk about some of the numbers. I think the numbers are in front of you. But I believe, you know, if he can dedicate full time as a golf pro, then he can have programs together to drive the golfing numbers up and usage of the golf course up. So that's really our main, you know, our main objective regarding the restaurant, is trying to get a vendor in there. And if we don't for this year, make sure we can find a manager that you know, that's dedicated to that restaurant, so that Kevin can do what Kevin does best, and that's be a golf pro. Although he's a pretty good restaurant manager.
Well, it's not fair to him, you know, and it's not really a building progressive type thing limping along.
And he also sees
real-
that as that.
No, getting back to the finance part about it, seems like to me that somewhere out there might be some grants to offset some of these numbers that you're gonna present to us, you know, the $10,000 to $60,000 for simulators and then a building, things of that nature. But I don't know this. I'm not into the grants and stuff, but it seems like in a lot of our recreational programs, we search for some of these grants, and surprisingly enough, we'll find a small one or we'll find some, so that we have an idea how much we have to appropriate to get this program going. And it's kind of hard to say, well, okay, we'll take a shot at it. But if we know we're getting some income from someplace else to offset these numbers, I think there's a possibility we could probably go that way. That's
And
my
what we
take on it.
understand, I mean, that, you know, risk without knowledge of any kind of reward is not good business. So I can understand where you're coming from there. Speaking of, grants, the other thing we talked about is, and we mentioned it earlier in the agenda regarding the use for running and walking trails is one of the things that we're interested in is paving the cart paths. And one of the biggest, advantages to have those cart paths paved is wear and tear on the carts, maintenance on our carts. And if we use them more as walking trails and running trails, there might be, like the bar brings up, there might be some grant money available to pave those as a running/walking trail.
I talked to council member from Sinclair, and several years ago, we talked about putting a bike trail all the way up to their tank, their water tank, the back of the golf course, and that would attract some traffic. And that might be helpful in promoting the golf course a little better too. So I just wanted to throw that out because it hasn't been too long ago, I ran into one of the council members at City Market. And he asked me what I thought about that, and I said, well, we've always wanted to have one. It doesn't have to be a paved one right away, but it could be bladed all the way up there and used for their bikes and stuff, and they come down from Sinclair.
Well, that's a good suggestion. You have basically have a separate trail, because one of the things we talked about is the liability of having somebody out there on a bike or running, having to dodge golf balls, It creates kind of a problem if you do it during the peak golf times.
But being that they're kind of interested, it'd be something to look at. Maybe they'll split the cost with us or whatever they want to do. I don't know, but that'd be something that somebody could go after and talk to them.
Real quick, on the restaurant side of things, I know getting a vendor in there is tough, but say you were to put simulators in that dining room area, or do you think a vendor is going to be more challenged to get in there, just having a bar seating area?
That's going to be one of those questions that's hard to see, depending on what the vendor's wanting to do. If his big goal is to have big buffets and big crowds of people show up, then I think it would take away from the vendor. But if it's a vendor that's looking at it that, hey, I might be able to come in there and work this with 3 people because I can just do, some deep fried food and alcohol, they might be able to roll that over into the golf because they don't have to have as much area to take care of. So it could go either way, and depending on what kind of vendor you would want to get in there.
What would be your preference for the restaurant, moving forward? If you have
A vendor? Honestly, that's a preference. I don't want to see Kevin out there in an apron. There's a funny story with Kevin going out there in an apron. Actually, they had a golf tournament come in with, I can't remember what team it was, but for high school golf, and the girls didn't know exactly where to go or whatever and tee off, and he had to actually run out there in his apron, and he's showing them where to tee off and everything. And the one girl says, what's the cook doing out here showing us this stuff? Where, they didn't have a clue, but, that's I understand getting Kevin to be a pro,
I don't want to see the city run a restaurant. That's just where I'm coming from. I don't want any part of having the employees be city employees and run a restaurant. This is just me. We either need to get a vendor or we need to do the Grubhub thing.
So something on the vendor side that I think that we've kind of been missing the spot in the last even 3 or 4 years is advertising for a vendor. I'm not sure, other than word of mouth, how much advertising has been done to even try to find a vendor within the state, within the city. I don't know if there's been any type of advertising at all. That was something that was on our list, is we wanted to talk to you guys about that, it might be something we got to try to spend some money to try to get some advertising within the state, without the state, maybe some golf magazines, to try to find a vendor to come here to take it over. Because that's our ultimate goal, is to find a vendor to take it over. But if we don't advertise it, nobody's going to know that we do it.
There's several places like the boat club and whatnot that used to have retired couples come in. They don't want to work year round, but they'll do 6 months or whatever. If you could find the right people, that'd be the best possible thing. If you did advertise, where would you advertise, and do you have any idea what that would cost?
That is not something, I wouldn't even know where to look to do that type of advertising. You know, that was something that we've talked about a little, that we needed to come to see if we needed to pursue that more, if that's something that the city already has, something that when they're looking for employees, if they already have something out there within the state, you know, that we could try to get in to try to, you know, guide somebody here to be a vendor.
I'm sure we can find, go ahead.
Would that, I mean, wouldn't that come out of a advertisement budget of like the Parks and Rec division anyways? I mean, and how much is in there for that? Do we know?
That.
You know, another thing I thought about,
That's above my pay scale.
Yeah, no, I just think, I mean, I think Patty does a lot of advertising for rec center
another thing
programs.
that I thought about, and I don't know, and I've been out there. As a matter of fact, they have some pretty nice hamburgers this summer, but having said that, I thought, you know, why isn't it that they can't have these machines like they have at these truck stops where you have hot dogs and things?
Deli Express.
To keep up on
Deli
it.
Express was.
Deli Express.
I've been bringing that up for the last couple of years.
Seemed like
The city's gonna lose money, and and we never thought of a Grubhub type thing, but that was something that we brought up here, you know, last couple of years I brought up, to give a Deli Express sandwiches and make sure that our pro shop people can sell the alcohol so that we can still get the revenue for the alcohol and still keep the golfers with their alcohol, but put a Deli Express coolers in there and some microwaves. I mean, that's an
Well,
absolute
it was
blast.
my understanding that they'll even lease the machines. They lease the machines that all you do is buy whatever you're gonna use, whether it's burritos or hot dogs or what. And the golfers are happy, they get to go out and knock the ball around, come in and get something to eat. Some coffee pots, you know, that have coffee all the time. I think something like that would work temporarily. I don't tell you that that's the answer, but
Right.
just to help us during the summertime till we get something going the way you'd like to see it.
Yeah, the answer for all of us is a vendor. That's difficult
Yeah.
to get to.
Patty?
So I'm sorry, this is not my meeting, and I understand that, but recently, we contacted the economic development, the Carbon County Economic Development, Ms. Yvonne, and she found a prospective vendor that has seriously looked at the restaurant twice in a week. So we're really, really hoping to push that forward. Also, we put out feelers like this way and that way. The official proposal is out, and of course, we've kind of tapped on some other restaurateurs, et cetera, et cetera. I think that we're progressing very much swifter than we've ever progressed. So, but I've never been a part of this, so I just called Yvonne and she said, oh, and her little eyes lit up. So we're moving forward very rapidly.
Oh, we definitely need to involve the advisory board in some of those, so they're not working that way and you're working that way, and you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So Patty, I asked them about advertisement. Is that come out of a budget from Parks and Rec, or is it just for advertisement? Because I know you do advertisement there. Is that part of that budget?
Well, and you know, we pushed that, but that's not my budget. The budget for the rec center is not the restaurant budget, because the restaurant is held separately from the green spaces and Parks and Recreation. It's different than that. So we've been working very, very closely with the city manager and of course Myra, and moving that forward a little swifter than we really like this. This is so exciting.
Myra?
So the city bids actually go out, or requests for proposals go out through the city clerk's office. So there's funding through the clerk's office, the manager's budget, to advertise to find a vendor.
Why would we have a visitors council, and that's supposed to be one of our attractions to bring people into Rawlins. It seemed like through the visitors council, we ought to be able to visit with them and say, look, could you give us a hand on advertising the golf course or whatever, and it wouldn't. I don't know if that's the way they do it or not. I'm not familiar with it.
We are very much on their website throughout the state as far as the golf course goes. We always have the restaurant as part of the golf course, whether it's the vendor or whether it's city run. That's statewide, and she takes us everywhere she goes. So yes, the Visitors Council works diligently for our golf course and our recreation facilities.
Well, is that enough? Apparently it isn't, because we're talking about advertising. Is that what the Visitors Council doing enough to put us on the map with our golf course, or we need more money for that, or?
I can always use more money.
Yeah, that's
What am
true.
I saying here? But I'm just saying that, she can only do as much as she can. Statewide, we're noted as a Carbon County golf course, and people do stop here, and people know us because of that too. So that's not saying that we can't do more by any means, but we're also in a lot of other publications that are statewide, border-to-border tourism publications, and
Do they work on
promote Carbon
signage
County.
also?
Pardon
Do
me?
they work on signage on the highway?
Not the Visitors Council, no.
They don't do that.
But we, of course, we own our own sign out there, so we're using it for the golf course.
Yeah, I see the one we have closer to town, but I'm saying if you're driving from, say, Rock Springs to Rawlins, you're coming down the highway,
And those
Be
are
nice to
very
see something to see.
expensive, and I don't know how much they draw in. I'm not sure about statistic-wise, but I would love to see us on the other side of the moon. Yeah, on the other side of Laramie. It just says, don't turn here, turn here.
no, I'm
Drive another
just throwing that out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Maybe it could
just
help us.
another 100 miles to the Oasis. But yeah, I think that's always a plus. We can always go further with our tourism stuff, but I'm gonna tell you, lots of people know this golf course, and lots of them see it on the highway as they're traveling through. There's a lot of traffic on I-80. A lot of people visit their families here, and there's a place to go, that golf course, but these gentlemen work very hard to find these spaces. I think that the reason, and I apologize, the reason I didn't communicate the restaurant thing is because I didn't want to jump that gun yet and put that little hope there, because it might just go.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to make sure that there were other plans in the makings, and they have some great ideas, so.
So,
Sorry.
I'm
I was
sorry.
just gonna try and resort back a little bit to that paving of the cart paths, and I know I've talked to Philip a little bit, and he said that there are grants available if it's classified as a walking path and stuff like that too, but I know when it was first done, it was roto-milled, right? And then laid down, and then there was some headache about, no, we can't put the oil on, it's gonna bleed into the fairways, and so that's one reason that the cart path hasn't lasted, but is there a possibility to do a cheaper route, fill that back in with rotomill again, and then actually oil it, because we have all the equipment through the city,
Well, and that's something that I think we'd have to get with Robert and probably do find out if there is a chemical that'll come off that and hurt the grass. Because I don't know if you guys have heard this last year, we got voted, I think, #1 in the state for public course. Another big award we got this year for the course. I mean, the course is in the best shape it's ever been in. Robert has done an absolute amazing job. And if you look at our numbers from this year to last year, I'll bet if you even compare it to 18, it's just been a steadily increase because the golf course is in such great shape, and it's word of mouth. The better the course is in, the more people want to come here and play it. I kind of wish the numbers would show how many out-of-town golfers instead of just non-member golfers. It would be really neat to see a number that says out-of-town golfers, just to kind of see the numbers, how many people actually do stop.
Well, I know my son-in-law came here, and he's from Missouri, and they came here and he came and golfed, and I didn't go with him. I didn't set him up. I didn't nothing. He just went out and golfed, and when he came back, I asked him, and this is a guy that has probably golfed on 30 different courses, and I said, so what did you think? And he told me it was one of the best golf courses he's ever golfed on, and that was when it was pretty much new, but it hasn't really changed that much. But we don't have, I'm just going to cut to the chase, we don't have enough people golfing out there. we don't have enough stuff going on out there. So,
Well, and that's why I've been trying to figure out some more community involvement stuff, definitely over the winter, to try to get that, use that course more, use the area more. So we've talked about, Robert actually even brought it up about the ice skating rink, you know, he thinks it would be pretty easy to do the one pond that we have. He said the biggest thing is we have to make sure that the liner was below the water, but, he thought that he could make that an ice skating rink pretty easy for us and put a hut out there, or, you know, maybe even just put one hut that gets somebody to have a heating thing out there and rent some skates and, you know. So that's something definitely that I think would be a pretty minimal expense. I'm not sure if you'd get any return if you were gonna charge them, or if it was just gonna be something to let them go do it. But that's something to get the community out there, and, you know, so it's.
that's a great idea, because you've been outside, we have no problem growing ice. You know?
The Zamboni would be optional, but.
Yeah. Zamboni might look like a guy. Daryl?
So, you know, some golf courses do, we lease, the cities will lease them out to third party, and they'll come in. And the city, the city will set a rule and say, you know, you guys maintain the green, you got to stay a certain standard for the city to lease it from them. But it takes away, they bring in the advertising, they bring in their big teams, you know, because they've got the money, they've got the, if they're leasing a golf course, I imagine they have other golf courses that they already do this with. Would that be a solution to bring in better advertising? Some, maybe that's why we can't rent the restaurant, is because that's not enough for somebody to come in. Maybe they want the golf course plus the restaurant. You know, give them let them control everything, minus maybe we maintain greens for them. So they pay a fee per year to lease the golf course from us. Would that be a route to go?
I think if you could find somebody that would do it, but I think that the numbers aren't there as far as golfers, just like Terry said, there's just not enough golfers for a big company like that to come in, because they're just, you know, you get in big cities and they're booked all day, and we just don't have that many golfers, you know, we get out of town golfers and a lot of local golfers, but as far as members, I just don't know if the numbers would be there for somebody like that to come in and do it, you know? It's something that I think it's a recreation for people to try to draw people to Rollins, you know, to try to get people to move here. And so we have doctors and have stuff like that. It's something that you just, almost every community that has a golf course has to have, you know, just to bring people, you know, so.
Is there, in the programming out there, do you think they could put something in there for if someone comes in, hey, what's your zip code, and that would record the amount of traffic and income from the out-of-towners? I know a lot of places like in Casper, they'll ask you that. Hey, what's your zip code, you know? And they plug it in there.
It would be neat for us to see those kind of numbers. And not just us, you guys, so you know how many out-of-town people. You know, butts and beds is a big thing for Carbon County Visitor Council. So if they see that kind of stuff, hey, we already have this many golfers coming from out of town, there might be money to where we can get a billboard outside of Laramie or outside of, you know, Rock Springs to bring more people here.
So again, a stay and play type of thing would be an option too, where people advertise hotel stay, drop it off.
And that capability may be in the program. We'll ask Kevin, you know, because this is I think this is a, you know, typical golf course program that's been done, I think, isn't it? So it may be in there, so we'll ask him if he can do something like that.
Well, and it would be nice to be able to, you know, we got to get up out of these chairs and go explain what we're doing here out and around. And the more information we have, the better it is. So it would be nice if we had better numbers, so you could say, hey, we have 1,000 more golfers this year than last year, or, you know, you say it's better than it was. Well, it would be nice to have that more quantified to where, Okay, if we're having more out-of-town people and we're not having more in-town people, then we don't need to advertise in-town people. We need to advertise for out-of-town people or vice versa and such like that. So the better numbers, the more specific numbers we get, the better our windshield will be and all of us will be able to drive the car better.
Well, one of the numbers on this is on the greens fees. It doesn't show, well, memberships is on a separate deal, but our memberships were up 40 from last year, but that doesn't really state family memberships or singles. I guess it does. Families was the same. But rounds of play from this year to last year was up 1,073. So we had 1,073 more rounds played this year than we did the previous year, which is a lot.
That is.
Well, it really helps a lot too, and I concur with what the mayor said. Getting out on the street, it's easier for me to explain to them that, hey, look, yeah, we do got a golf course and, we're having some problems, but they applied for a grant and they received this much money. To show that we're putting out that effort to try to get some extra money. We're not just counting on revenues from the city. And that helps me a lot because I get that question thrown at me quite a bit. I support the golf course. We inherited the thing and we got it, and we got to try to make it work. And I agree with all that. We got to find some ways to show the public that we're working to try to get more revenue other than the golfers.
Well, it is
That's
one of
that's
the
my
things in Rollins that does create a revenue stream.
It does.
So that, that's the good news.
That's right.
And really, the numbers paint a pretty good picture. They tell a pretty good story between 2020 and 2019. And, Kevin's shown me numbers. We can go all the way back. And Kevin showed me numbers all the way back to 2007 when we opened it. And that was a big year, of course, because a lot of things were going on. It was brand new, and the economy was better around here. But really, most of the years, besides 2007, there's been kind of a steady increase in the numbers for that golf course. So it's being used. Is it being used enough? We think we can, do some things out there where it's used more and for more different things.
Callie had a question.
Maybe just for the record, could we maybe put our resident accountant on the spot and have him go through the numbers and just run us through this? I think that would be helpful for.
An overview?
Real quick, just year to year, the numbers we have here, and this does not include the pro shop or the restaurant, revenue is up 35,000.
From last year.
19 to 20 calendar year, 19-20 calendar year.
Not including pro shop or restaurant, it brought in $175,623. Not including pro shop or restaurant.
Why not? Why aren't we including those?
We didn't have those figures. We didn't get what those are. We didn't get those.
I think they're available, but we didn't get it.
Do we have the cost to run comparables?
We didn't get that either.
No?
Yeah, we didn't get that. I have some old, as you can see, I've been a member for a long time, or on the board for a long time. I have some costs from like 2000, I think it was like 18. And let's see, Tim would probably be able to go over these a little better, but I mean, this one here, I'm not sure it has, see, this has got salaries, and this has got utilities, gas. So I would say the cost was what, on this page, particular page here is 232,000. So, I mean, if that's an accurate number for this year, the golf course lost around $60,000, which $60,000 is a lot of money, but it's,
To have a golf course or not have a golf course. But if it's only 60,000, to me, that's encouraging. I think we can close that gap somewhat. Councilman Weiss.
Yeah, I'd like to, I agree with the Bari. I love the golf course. I do use the golf course a lot, right? And I just, I've had several conversations also with people through the community about the golf course, but I just want the community also to understand that it's an amenity, right? It's a recreational amenity. If we were to go out and look at the rec center, okay, you're gonna see a big negative number also. But that's utilized also by a lot of people. So it's a recreational event or a subsidiary, you know, that the Rollins decided to have. So I think the citizens of Rollins also need to understand that it's going to be a negative generation, you know, of income coming in there because it is a recreational program, right? It's but if that's the case, people want to really dig into numbers. I think they'd be crazy to, I mean, think that the rec center makes money too, right? Because it loses a lot of money also. So it's a recreational deal. It's one of those things that, you know, it's an amenity offered to the community for, you know, our citizens. And not only that, but it could be a promoting factor for other businesses to come to Rollins. So I think it's a, you know, washed out situation in that aspect.
Well, recruiting tool for professionals coming here and those kind of jobs also.
You know, I agree with you. The only difference is that when you look at the rec center, and I know that we're not always on the, well, we've never been on the bus, but having said that, they come to us constantly over the time that I've been on the council telling us, we got this grant, we got this grant, we got, these people gave us this all the time, and that's what we need, I think, for the golf course to show, so that I can explain it to the public, say, look, yeah, we're not making any money out there, but they're helping us in all these things. And I think they fail to see that. And so that would help a lot if we had revenue coming from other sources, so I could tell them, look, we just got a grant that did this over there at the golf course. That's my take on it.
So
I want it to work.
I have a question about the grants. So in something like that in the rec center, is that the board that is looking for those grants, or is it a city employee that looks for those grants, or is it just a mixture of everybody that, hey, I've heard this grant? I mean,
You know, I kind of asked that question, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, I don't know. I don't know if it's the right direction for the board to do things.
Daddy's got our answer.
Daddy's our money lady.
I want you to know that it's very, very, very difficult to find grants for golf courses. Recreation is really easy to find a grant in because it's more health-oriented, so you can move to a health-oriented grant instead of just buy a golf course cart or replace the windshields on something. It's just more, if we could find something that helped us move forward with paving of the cart paths, I believe that we could place that within that recreational grant thing and move forward with that. I want you to know that the new gentleman that's been hired by the city as the director for the Parks and Recreation has a really great background in grants. So I think, and he has some experience in federal grants. Personally, I don't even want to touch those puppies.
You know, and I agree with you.
So in-depth, but
I agree with
yeah.
what you're saying. I guess what I'm saying is that if we had a bike trail that goes to Sinclair, I'll bet we could get grants for that. And if we had a combination of Sinclair and Rollins working together, applying for the grant, that's a plus. And so, that's what I'm saying. I realize that it's hard to tell somebody, hey, we need a grant to play golf. That's tough. But for other things, for health reasons, ice skating, we might pass the test. I don't know, but those kind of things I'd like to see us do a little bit more. See if we could help us a little bit with the revenue side.
I think our involvement with the community and all those things, our hiking trail, our biking trails, are just the fun runs and the things that we have out there that aren't golf oriented. And even just to say that the high school uses that facility continually to promote the health of their young people and sporting events, I think that would really be a good narrative for a grant. We just got to find that grant that the narrative fits to.
You know, I sat on the community gas board, I don't know, maybe 3 years, and I can tell you that would fly with them. They want that advertisement. So if we had a bike trail going to Sinclair with some little signs paid for by community gas, that would help a lot. And that's what that board was always telling us. They wanted to shine and they wanted to help too. So anyway, that's just my take.
So, I guess kind of going back to just the basics of customers. Tell me, how do you, because I've never been out there, so how do you log in a customer that's golfing as far as member, non-member, local, out of town, that kind of thing? Tell me the process of.
I'm not sure how they do it in the deal. Friends that I've taken, that I've brought, they just walk in and say, I want to play 18, and, you know, they pay their 18 and we get a golf cart and we go. They've never, I'm sure there's something in that system that they should be able to go in and say, okay, we just want a zip code so we can track. And it would be a neat number for everybody to have.
Well, I guess that's what I'm getting at. It sounded like you don't really know the difference between, I guess basically you either have a member golfing or a non-member golfing.
Right.
And that's effectively the split.
Yep.
So in the end, we don't even know the demographics of the customer.
No.
Right? We can advertise all you want, you go get every grant you want to get. But in the end, we don't even know who the customer is to advertise for.
Correct.
So I've seen a lot more basic things that need to be addressed.
And it may be doable. It's something that we agree that that's probably a number, and we talked about it before the meeting even.
And I don't know if it's a software thing or a training thing or what, but just, I mean, to me, that's a core, we don't even know who the customer is. What I'm hearing.
Councilman Smith?
I would like to just give you some feedback, if I may. I look on the golf course as a community amenity too. It's a quality of life issue for the city. And we've used it a lot for, when I was on the hospital board, we used it as a recruiting tool, so it was very helpful to professionals. I am very interested in you pursuing the simulators because I think we're in a game society right now, and that might be very attractive. I hope that you will find a vendor that would incorporate some of this as maybe a pub and simulator for folks, and then work with them on having some kind of, as you said, tournaments with the simulators and things like that, because I think my husband's a golfer and he's interested in, going down and having something to do in the wintertime. So that was the feedback I got from him. And so I just wanted to thank you for the work that you do out there. I know that your numbers are up, which is encouraging. And $60,000, there's got to be something we can do to put you over the top somewhere, and I'll be supportive of that. Just so you know.
And I would like to say, I agree, it's a great amenity. I mean, people come here and see it. It is a recruiting tool. A lot of people there's some people who won't move here unless they can play golf. I mean, we have another golf course, but this one's an 18-hole, and it's right there, and whatnot. And I don't think it's ever going to be a profit center. Okay, it's never going to be that. If we would make money, I'd want to spend it back on it. But if we can close that gap a little bit, the ice skating thing tickles me to death because people will buy their own ice skates. I remember as a kid, gosh, we used to just go skate until our fannies couldn't take it no more, and then we go home because we fall down. But those are cheap things to do to get more people out there. The more people out there, the better odds you're going to get a vendor. And so anything we can do to help, besides just write blank checks, of course, like the grants writing and some of that, we can get help to do some of that stuff. And so just keep looking for the information and, go back and you've done a lot of research in the past, just do some more.
So Zamboni is still.
Yeah. Just keep dreaming about it, because if you make it right enough, we'll get a Zamboni. Then we'll know we have arrived.
The city is thinking that I would pursue getting several more numbers. There's a golf course that's in Rapid City that's owned by the Elks Foundation. We have an Elks here. And I played there, I think it was 2 years ago with my son. And they were just putting in 2 golf simulators for the city. So I'll try to get with them and try to get some concrete numbers with maybe the Golf Pro or something. And I'll get with a couple of these simulators that we checked in and try to get some concrete numbers and find out exactly what we can do with 2 golf simulators. Let's say we had a 18-person golf tournament, how long it would take. And so we could have some concrete numbers on that. As far as the building side of that, that would be something that, I don't know if that's something that as a board we want to get numbers for building a new building or anything like that, but I don't know, you know, or if you guys want us to put it in the restaurant, or I guess on that side of it, that would be something we'd have to discuss with you guys and see if we pursue that more as far as, but I definitely will get more numbers on that as much as I can get information. If I have to go to Casper and golf for a couple days, I can, we'll do that and find out.
Pam?
So,
Yes.
A couple of things. How much, and I don't know if you know this or not, or how you would know, but how much do you think the increase this year is based on COVID?
that is it's hard to say. I think if you went back and looked at our numbers from 18, 19, and 20, the courses progressively got in better shape, and our numbers have progressively, from 18 to 19, we even had a big increase, and then 19 to 20, we had a bigger increase, but it was still an increase. So I think part of that is word of mouth that the course is in amazing shape, and you know, I think COVID has something to do with it because people can get out. But on the other side of that too, the golf numbers are down because of COVID, because they couldn't do the Hospital Foundation tournament, which is a big fundraiser that we couldn't do. They didn't do the Scramble tournament. They didn't. So I think 6 of the 7 tournaments got canceled because of that. I think the only tournament we actually got to do is the big tournament that I do for the nonprofit. And the only reason we got to do that was because I borrowed golf carts from Sinclair and had to bring golf carts from them. They were nice enough to let me haul 20 carts back here so I could do a golf tournament. So these numbers actually could have, if COVID wasn't, I think these numbers could have even been better because we could have got the other 7 or 8 tournaments that we had scheduled in. So.
Okay. Another thought is with the ice skating rink. I know Pam Thayer and the CTA, they had an ice skating rink by the depot. She might be a good resource as for numbers to see how popular that really was in town and kind of profit margin she made.
The Kiwanis Club in Saratoga also attempted a ice skating rink this past winter, had a couple of issues.
I'm sure it'll take a little bit of time to fine tune whatever, but that's as long as you're moving forward. I mean, that's how I feel about it.
There's frozen water there.
That's something, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the more people you get there, no matter if it's winter or summer, spring, whatever season it is, the more people show up during that course of the season for golfing.
Callie, you had a question?
Yes. So I was just gonna ask the advisory board, because based on just my historical numbers, there's been a significant jump in memberships here recently. Any idea what might be driving that? Because so if we're seeing 229, in 2018, I had only between 160 and 167 members, is what the finance director, so big jump. Any idea what you're doing right?
I think it's the course, Robert Graziano, I can't say enough about him taking care of that course out there. The greens are in the best shape they've ever been. The fairways are in absolutely amazing shape. The course is pleasant to the eye when you pull up to the pro shop. I mean, it's just in my eyes, and I'm a golfer, I golf everywhere, and it is in absolute, I golfed, 18 courses last year and 28 courses the year before, and I would say out of all of those, our course was probably, last year was better than any course I played, and the year before was probably in the top 5. I mean, he just has it in amazing shape. So.
One factor we haven't talked about is last summer, the Sinclair Golf Course wasn't in operation. So it could be that some of those members, you know, they may have golfed here anyway at some point in time, but they forego that membership and go membership. So that could be part of the numbers. I guess we'll know And, you know, the jury's still out about whether or not they're going to get the position. I want just one more question that I think that we need to hit on. I think it's kind of important to the restaurant deal. And that on the agenda is, we have it listed under here as lease restructuring. And you know, to me, it just boils down to this: if the nibble that Patty's talking about for the vendor turns into a real good bite, you know, is there something that we can do with the lease to help someone get started in that? You know, or is the council agreeable to having a lease structure whereby maybe, you know, the building rent, utilities can be adjusted to get their feet on the ground and get them going? Is that something council would be?
When you say adjusted, in order to answer that question, I would have to know what it is now to know whether we can go up or down. But I'm telling you, myself, I'm pretty pliable. Having a vendor is more important than a few nickels.
We discussed that last.
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and try not to be too far out here, and since I got legal in the back. I believe the original talk was something about it would be kind of conditional on their particular sales. So the lease would have a core bottom line, something per month, and then something that was based on their average sales. So that as they were in the beginning with lower sales and getting started, it would increase as their profit increased, so would the rent. Is that, philosophically speaking, is that kind of what you're asking about, is something
I
like
mean,
that?
you know, there's probably more than one way to skin a cat.
Agreed.
You know, the other thing is giving them a good lease, but at the same time be able to hold them to that lease so that they don't decide in the middle of in the fall saying, hey, we're done, we're leaving, and we're stuck. We didn't make anything. I go back and take care of our equipment and whatever. That's happened to us before, so I'd have to look at something like that. That's what I'd be looking for. It's not so much the profit that we're gonna be making or the golf course is gonna be making. It's more that they're held responsible for the equipment and the building and whatever, or whatever we do. That's my look at it.
Councilman Smith?
For my opinion, I would tell you I'd be open to looking at whatever is proposed, as long as the city is protected against liability, that kind of thing. But I am very open, and I'm willing to look at what vendors, or maybe something that we can do through other avenues to help someone get established. So I'm very open and I'm flexible.
I will second both of those motions.
100%.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks.
Alrighty.
Hey, I was gonna ask on here, it said something about lighting on the driving range though. Is that like a future thing you guys would like to see, or?
That was a project that we had talked about, trying to get more community involvement, trying to figure out some way, kind of like the Topgolf people go out there and, you know, be drinking. So we've got some numbers to kind of light up just the section of the course. That's something that we've been trying to talk to Kevin a little bit about too, to see kind of what the city's liability about having people out there without employees. So that's kind of something that we've talked about a little bit, and it's something that it might bring more people out there, more revenue as far as the driving range. And that's something that we might even look at as far as maybe even getting like Rocky Mountain Power or one of them even to, hey, the lighting was put up by Rocky Mountain Power. We've even brought it up over the years. It's been a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. We talked about getting with Black Hills Energy and see if maybe they would even put a building out there when they're trying to spend money within the community, put a building out there with a heater on a timer. So over the winter, we could go out there and use the driving range. So that's something we've talked about that at previous meetings and stuff. And it was just something that we threw on there to talk to you guys about. You know, if we did maybe light the driving range in the summertime, it would be more hours that you could use it out there in the summertime, trying to get more community people out there and maybe get them as stepping stone to get some of those younger generation to go out there and hit some golf balls and figure out that it is fun and they can go out there and play. And it's not a real expensive sport. It's a fun sport.
I think it's a good
Okay,
visibility aspect of things, light up if it could be lit up on the driving range or the putting green and stuff like that. It's a very visible aspect to utilize possibly, so,
Oh,
thanks.
are we supposed to start it?
Hey, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
I'll mellow out.
Sean, did you?
Just one comment. If the council would like, I'd be happy to be involved in kind of working up, like when we have one of these interested vendors, I'd be happy to involve myself with that process. And I have reviewed, the last time we had one of these agreements, it's actually pretty long and comprehensive. It's a good agreement. But I'd be happy to be involved there and to kind of craft something that I think can work. And then I can bring it back and present it here if that works.
That'd be great. If we could get a vendor, that'd be like 50% of these guys' work over. Then they could concentrate on what they want to do.
Also, I think the biggest thing, like golfing this year out there, right? You're dependent on city staff to run a restaurant and the bar area and stuff, and they only work certain hours, right? So if there's a private vendor in there, then there's more revenue generated for the course. So I could see that.
Better.
Yeah.
Get better, cleaner,
Yeah.
smarter. All right, anything else?
Anything else for us?
You have any questions of us? No blank checks.
Answer them all.
When's your guys' next meeting?
Our next meeting is,
Next month.
yeah,
No, wait, it's tomorrow.
I was gonna say, I thought it was
It
tomorrow.
is, it's tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh, goody.
yeah.
Would you guys mind to check and see about how they track the membership as far as a non-member? And see if there's something, like if it's a software, just find out what we can do to maybe get more data in that
Yeah,
regard.
Kevin's on vacation, but he won't be, I don't think he'll be at our meeting tomorrow, but we'll hit him up, because that's something that we've talked about too, that just be easier to go to places and say, we want this, we have this many out of town.
Right, that'd be great information.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, well, this workshop is adjourned.
Run.
Well, fine, do that way, sir.
You can talk to me like that now, without hearing point of order. What's that? That's the worst part, is getting Yeah. But you know what, Marty, I think there might be some grants available for that
Hey, I was
stuff.
gonna say, I know the individual that opened the one in Casper, and I know that family very well.
See what they spend, see
Yeah,
what they
well,
charge.
I know.
Oh, yeah, the one, yeah, I know one, she's the one who. So Liz obviously, Alex for purpose.
But the simple thing is,
The next thing on our agenda is the roll call.
Mayor Wycombe,
Here.
Vice Mayor Wells.
Here.
Councilmember Durst.
Here.
Councilmember Gardner.
Here.
Councilmember Martinez.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Weisenberg.
Here.
Thank you. The next thing on the agenda is I'll open a public hearing on the annual renew of liquor licenses. And at this time, this is the time if you have anything to say about that subject, now is when. Hearing nothing, I will close the public hearing and we will go to the next thing on the agenda, which is citizens' participation. This is a time when the public is invited to express their opinions or tell us anything they want to tell. There is a time limit of 5 minutes. Is there anybody here that would like to address the council? Going once. All right, hearing none, we will go to the next thing on the agenda, which is the Employee of the Year. And so I'll turn the floor over to City Manager Sean Metcalf.
Okay, so we have, let's see, on mine right here, we have an Employee of the Quarter, so first off. So with that, I would ask if Jody would join me up front for a second.
Yay.
So this quarter, I selected Jody McCorkin to be our Employee of the Quarter. Jody has been so awesome at the city. She's done so much for us already in the short time that she's been here. I can tell already she's come up, she's found things, ways to save us money already that I've seen. She's improving processes. She's working so well with her staff, creating an environment they want to work in. There's just so many different things that she's been doing. And also including like the COVID grant, she was a key part in making that be successful. And so I felt that she was very well deserving of the Employee of the Quarter. So very super happy to have you as part of the team.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Sean, and thank you, Jody. All right, next thing. The Office of Emergency Management, Lenny Lehman.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilmen, ladies. How are you tonight? Thank you for offering me a small amount of time tonight to make introductions, to be able to open myself up to asking questions. So I am the new emergency manager for Carbon County. I started back in April, so a little bit less than a year ago. And there's been some changes to that office since I took that role. First and foremost is I'm now a direct report to the county commissioners. In my personal evaluation, emergency management should be that direct report to the county commissioners and not tied to any one discipline like police, sheriff, fire, those types of things, so that we can be lateral with them and actually help all the different disciplines. So we made that change probably in September. And since then, some of the things that I've been working on is the Carbon County Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan. It's going to be a 7-part plan. I've reached out and made lots of contacts with your great city employees, the city manager, Sean Metcalf, your new your new fire chief. Super excited to do some trainings and teachings with him. Your police chief, Palmer. And Danielle Gross, your operations manager. Super excited to start building more of an emergency management network here that's collaborative. It's not just Carbon County, but it's City of Rollins, it's the town of Hannah, it's the town of Baggs. It's all of us coming together, potentially working at a disaster if and when that time comes. So we had our grand opening this afternoon at the C4. A number of you councilmen were there. The C4 is the Carbon County Coordination Center. It's basically an EOC, Emergency Operations Center. It's where we would come together to do support and coordination of a potential disaster. For example, the Mullen Fire, the Hannah 316 fire, even something as small as the Savory High Wind event that occurred last April-ish when I first started. Those would all be great reasons to staff and activate an EOC and support and coordination of what's going on in the field. So with that, I do have a couple other things to share, but I just wanted to open it up if there's any questions of myself, my position, what I can provide to City of Rawlins and to all of Carbon County. I would gladly take any questions. Hi.
I don't think I have any questions, but I have heard some positive feedback about some of the changes and things that you've done, so.
Thank you, Mr. Durst. Thank you.
I'll give you that.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So in my mind and in my world, emergency management is never to be a silo. It's never to be emergency management Hannah or emergency management Medicine Bow or emergency management Carbon County. It should be all of us coming together because anything that happens within our borders of Carbon County affects us all. And we all have a master skill set. For example, finance, operations, logistics, public information, all of those things coming together, regardless if the event is happening here in the city of Rawlins or in encampment. So I'm really excited about the traction and the momentum that we're getting in building that. So one of the things, talking with new city manager, Sean Metcalf, super excited about him on board. His vision for the city is just electric. I'm super excited to be able to partner with him on the emergency management side. As you guys go through, I'm not per se a plan writer, but I'm a plan collaborator. So writing some emergency operation plans, some emergency action plans, COOPs, continuity of operations, continuity of government, all of those plans are certainly in my wheelhouse to help coordinate and help support and help produce products that you guys need here at the city level. Because if your plans here at the city level don't match what the expectation is or what would happen at the county level and that what would potentially happen at the state level, those plans can run into some friction. So I come from the school district background. Years ago, I worked for the school district. We had phenomenal emergency operations plan until we shared them with our first responders. And our first responders said, "You would do what if this happened?" And it was just like craziness. So we ended up having to rewrite a lot of our plans so that there was an expectation from our first responders. This is what we would do. This is what they would do coming together. So I'm excited to be able to offer that to the city of Rawlins, whatever department may need some of that emergency management focal point. I'm here to help. Excellent. Last thing I wanted to share and open up for questions is AlertSense. When I first started, we had a different mass notification system. We are now working with AlertSense. AlertSense is really a phenomenal system. There is a number of reasons that we collaboratively made some changes with that. Excited to be working with the City of Rawlins Police Department, Saratoga Dispatch, County Dispatch, and we all came together as best we could and we adopted the AlertSense system. So the AlertSense allows us to send those high-level IPAWS messages, those ones that don't require a phone to opt in. It allows us to develop and send public messaging. Those are the ones where we need our community to opt in. And then it also allows us to send internal messages independent at each of the 3 PSAPs, each of the 3 dispatch centers. So for example, Valita at City of Rawlins Dispatch is building internal message groups that's just for the city. So for example, council members, potentially school districts, police, fire, she can send those internal messages. At the county level, we're building ones, search and rescue, county fire, coordination center. I'm building one for our new coordination center if we have an activation. Saratoga is building it for themselves. So it's really a powerful tool and it allows all 3 dispatch centers to work on the same platform, to have the same system, and most importantly, and this I would want to stress, is to have a system that actually the dispatchers can use really on a daily, weekly basis. is if they're only using the system to launch those high-level critical messages, how often do those happen here in Carbon County? Not very often. So now we have a system that they can utilize more on a daily, weekly basis, so that when they do have to launch those messages are, they're more comfortable in the system. Comfort translates to less errors translates to more usage. So we're really excited about AlertSense. So any questions on AlertSense? Lively crowd. Yeah. Yes, okay. Well, I just really wanted to introduce myself. I apologize, it's taken me a little bit to get over here. Things have been really, really busy. But I want you to know that the partnerships that I have with Sean Metcalf and police and fire extend to all of you as well. And whatever I can provide as a service to emergency management, pick up the phone, call me, shoot me an email. And if it's something that I can't do, I can certainly get us in touch with the people that can. And I just want to provide that service to the city of Rawlins. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate your time.
Lenny, thank you for all you've done in the grand opening today. I could see you did a lot of work up there and have done a lot of groundwork and made a lot of friends and partnerships in the short amount of time you've been here, and I certainly appreciate that. And Sean had something to say?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Basically, was going to say something like that.
Sorry.
No, hey, together. No, I just think it's super impressive how quickly you've got that much collaboration. It's just been awesome. And I also want to tell the council what he's doing, that center could potentially save people's lives.
Absolutely.
Literally could. And so I'm all for, in support of what you're doing and working together. Just wanted you to know my feelings. I think what's happening there is really awesome.
Yeah. One of the things that we're going to be looking at doing is doing some tabletops, some exercise, discussion-based processes that brings the county folks, the city folks together and kind of dialogue. And if this were to happen, how would we approach it? What are some of our gaps? What are some of our needs? And now we have a facility that we can do that at. So I'm really excited. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for coming out today. I really appreciate your attendance, and thank you for being there.
That was my pleasure.
Thank you. End of report. May I pass out my card?
Yes.
May I approach the bench?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, and you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. You, Jackie. There you
I have
go.
one, but-
You do. Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, the next thing on our agenda is the minutes. Councilman Wells, Vice Mayor Wells, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the city council regular meeting minutes of February 2nd, 2021 as presented.
Council Martinez seconds it. There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the city council regular meeting minutes on February 2nd, 2021 as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is now closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
All right, thank you. The next thing on our agenda is approval of the agenda. Councilman Martinez?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the city council agenda for February 16th, 2021. There are no additions or corrections.
Councilman Smith? Did you second that?
Yes, I
I'm
did.
sorry, I didn't hear you. Hearing a motion made and seconded to approve the city council agenda for February 16th, 2021. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is now closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Thank you. The next thing on our agenda is the City Council Board and Commissions report. So Board of Adjustments, Councilman Durst.
We do have a meeting tomorrow, and I'm going to lean into the back at, is it 5:30?
Yes.
So there is a meeting tomorrow night at 5:30 for the Board of Adjustments.
Okay, thank you. Carbon County COG, I attended the last meeting, but nothing since the last city council meeting, so I have nothing to report. DDA Main Street, Councilman Smith.
Yes, Rollins DDA and the Main Street program would like to remind everyone that they have a resource center for businesses in Rollins. It's at the Rainbow Teton Entrepreneur Center at 116 4th Street. The center was created to give new, early stage or expanding businesses opportunities to collaborate, receive support, and tools they may need to start or expand a business. The center has private and public education and professional agencies that will help businesses in the city. And I was thinking of that when we were talking to the golf course board tonight. Anyway, date we would like you to remember is the National Main Street Conference comes virtually to the Rollins businesses, April 12th, 13th, and 14th. You'll hear from national leaders on strategies for strengthening your organization, supporting your small businesses, telling your story, and so much more. Renew, Recharge, Reimagine for free at this conference. Sessions will be held at the Rainbow Teton Entrepreneur Center. Stay tuned for more information. Super Saturday and Cleanup Day in downtown is June 5th. And I think, Deborah, you represent downtown area, parts of it. We'd like to have you involved. Oasis in the Desert, Summerfest and Splash Pad dedications are July 9th and 10th. And we have exciting events that will be planned for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Rollins Planning Commission, Councilman Weisenberg.
Yeah, we had a meeting on the 9th of this month. We're just reviewing the bylaws right now to bring forth the council shortly. And then also there was a draft presented to us for a vacation of 21st Street. And we were asked to provide comments and feedback from the board. We did that, so everybody's aware.
Thank you. Urban Systems Committee, Councilman Garner.
We have a meeting March 10th at noon. So it'll be the first meeting I attend, so.
Okay. Thank you. All right, well, the next thing on the agenda is the reports and information and direction to city manager. The Urban Systems, Urban Deer Committee 2020 Urban Deer Cull report.
Honorable Mayor and members of the council, I'm Diana Espy, and with me is Chris Otto, and thank you for reappointing us. Last time we met, we were here. You've got, I think, everything in front of you. We'll just kind of hit some of the high points and answer any questions that you guys have. We feel that this was another pretty successful year in that we got our job done and didn't seem to have any problems, and a lot of people were unaware when it was happening. So that to us means that, you know, we did the things that we needed to do. We had put in for a Chapter 55 or Chapter 56 license last year for 25 deer, and we did up that this year to 40. That includes taking 40 deer, both male and female. Our focus is on breeding does to keep our population down, because our focus is to lower the number a little bit to a more manageable number and have them healthy. We did harvest 30 this year. Of those 30 that were harvested, 3 tested positive for CWD. And so we distributed 27 carcasses and meat to the public. Of the 30, we did have 3 small bucks. In the dark, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes if their horns are little bitty, but we definitely want to stress that we are not planning on taking any of the mature bucks. We're focusing mainly on the breeding does, but there may be some younger bucks kind of in and out of there. It's kind of dark and ears hide horns. Our intent is to renew the Chapter 56 license again next year, probably at the 40, but we don't know. It'll be anywhere from the 20 to 40, definitely probably not more than that. 40 seems to be at the limit that within the time frame that we have and the amount of crew that we have, the amount of space, that seems to work really well. So we will make that final decision in May when we are able to look at all the data. We're going to look at all of the police reports and vehicle collisions, aggressive deer reports, property damage, all of those things that we're collecting all that data and making our decisions on. We really want to thank Tom and Annie from Trails West for being so accommodating. We did put the processing out to bid within Carbon County, and Tom at Trails West was the only one that did respond to us. And we also had some volunteers, some really, really great volunteers, but we could not do without them. And we can provide those names if necessary, but they are really awesome to work with. We're friends with most of them, well, all of them. We kind of brought our crew in together. And we talked about the size that works best is 2 officers and a game and fish kind of out in the field doing the harvesting. We have 4 people that are dressing and hanging the deer. And then we have 3 that are testing, documenting, and handling the samples. So our system, probably 10 minutes? Probably 10 to 20 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes a deer. I mean, it is go, 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 and everything is handled neat. We all have our jobs. It's really kind of a slick process. Chris is going to talk to you a little bit more about some of the other stuff, and then we'll share some of our educational information that we're getting to put together as well.
So I got the easy part of this, Diane, hit the high points. I think you guys all were provided copies of basically the report that had the case numbers from the RPD, chronic wasting disease test results, the invoices. We took 31 deer, of which 3 tested positive. And then there's one, it shows on the report that there was a male that was taken that was 5 to 7 year old. That was actually a mistake. It was a female that was taken that was 5 to 7 years old. So we're not targeting those older age class bucks. There were 2 males taken, both of which were yearlings. And then the budget, I think you all were provided copies of that as well. Total expenditures this year were just slightly over $7,000 out of a $9,000 budget. We do need to qualify that. Had we taken 40 deer and had the 3 that tested positive for CWD been processed, we would have been our processing fees would have been about $8,500, and then the remainder probably would have required another night of work. So we probably would have came in right at budget. A good part of our budget, $1,000, was for the property lease, what we did the work. That was Lasco's warehouse, which won't be available to us next year. So we're going to have to figure out how we do that. So our budget may change based on that a little bit, but we're pretty happy we came in right where we thought we did.
We have some educational pamphlets. This is a very, 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 very rough draft. We have Myra Miller.
We've all known her too long.
I know, I'm like, oh, then I had to look what it wasn't. So Myra Miller has been working on this with us. Chris and I kind of started it, and really not our strength. And so a young woman by the name of Abby Perry, who works for the Carbon County Extension, has volunteered and kind of joined our group, and she and Myra together have put the information together. We had what we wanted in it, we just couldn't make it really pretty and nice, and those 2 ladies have way more skill than Chris and I did combined. And so, again, this is a very rough draft. We saw it for the first time at our last meeting on last Friday. And so we'll be working more a little bit with this, but it's kind of let you know that part of our focus is that education piece. And now that we have this part running pretty smooth, and now we have these two awesome techno ladies that are working with us, the education piece will probably come along quite a bit quicker. So if you guys have any other questions, please let us know. And, oh, we did talk about how Chris was asking earlier. I'm sorry, Mr. Weisenberg was asking earlier about the lottery draw, because he wasn't sure how that worked. And about a little over 60 people put in via website or at the police department, and they put in to be considered for the lottery. And then we actually, it doesn't matter when you call, it's a true lottery. We actually cut apart the names, draw them out of a bucket, and put them in a list, and we get, we knew that we got close to 40 names because we could take that many deer. We didn't take that many deer, but we had that list of names. And then we just start with that list and move on down. So it truly is a lottery system, and you would have to put in every year. And that's how that works. And we were able to distribute the meat from Trails West. They keep it for us and keep it frozen until it's ready to be distributed, and then we pick one day, and it all goes out to the public, and we're able to help some people that need some meat or want some meat with that.
That's awesome. Councilman Weisenberg had a question.
Yeah, you mentioned Lasco's building was utilized. Was their whole building utilized, or was it like their freezer?
The freezer space, yeah, within that building right there by City Market.
Okay.
So they have since sold that.
So I don't know if, I know it's not going to be utilized now because FedEx had purchased that building out of Rock Springs, right? But I do know, and I'm aware that Lasco was trying to sell that freezer that they had in there. And if it was a huge asset to them, I mean, is there a spot within the city to be able to help house that?
I used to rent that building, and I used that freezer for my ice and whatnot. The freezer itself is not a SIP unit. It's not got the panels. It's a homemade one that you could not move it. You'd have to tear it apart, and now you'd have a pile of sticks. I mean, it's just not a movable item. The equipment itself is, for freezing purposes, is, I paid for it. I can't remember. It blew up once. I had to buy it. I think it's like a one-horse unit. It's not really big enough to run a very big commercial freezer.
Well, and it wasn't a freezer. We're not using it as a freezer. We're using it as a cooler to hang the carcasses until we get the test results back. After we get the test results back, the deer that test positive are taken care of at the landfill, and then in the appropriate manner if they tested positive, and then the ones that tested negative then are hauled to Trails West. And of course, that's going to be part of the expenses. We're looking at trying to find somewhere else to do that. So we're not sure what our expenses are going to be and how we're going to manage that next year. We've got some ideas, but when we get together through May and through that, we'll definitely be coming back and explaining our process, because right now we have absolutely no idea what that's going to be.
I just know that they had advertised that could be taken apart and put up in as big of a freezer or cooler as you would need, right? And I didn't know if the city had a spot that maybe that might be something to utilize, so we have at our disposal of it.
Right. One thing to think about is it's not an outdoor facility. It's not weatherproof. Like Gary said, it's something that would have to be housed inside an existing building. So it's, there's a little give and take. It's not quite as simple as picking it up and throwing it up in the impound lot or something like that.
Yeah.
Things we've thought about is, a refrigerated truck. For just that short amount of time, we usually would need it for 2 months. Or trailer or something. We're looking for another place to actually do the collection of data, collecting the glands and doing those things so that our crew is not out in the weather, because that's definitely not going to be near as much fun as it was in a building with music and out of the weather. It was cold as all. It was cold, but being out in the elements, I think our crew would not be as willing to give up their time to do that. Our
You just
volunteers.
pretty much did this, so you have a year to find another
Yeah,
place.
we have a year to do this and to get things figured out.
Councilman Martinez?
You say you get 48, is that correct?
40.
40. And out of that 40, where do you decide where you get the 40?
Where the deer are. We are going to have to look at some more placement. So in our brochure, and what we had talked about with you before, is that we are trying to get them on city property. We may have to start looking at public properties that we have already kind of worked out an agreement so that there's a permission, there's a written permission from whatever landowner that may be. And of course, they would be in places where there's good backdrops. I mean, everything is going to be as safe as we could possibly make it.
I counted 15 today in my ward.
The problem with that area is
15, so
there's not good backdrops. There's, we have to find somewhere down by the Glen Edition, if we could do right there, but we have to contact those landowners. Those are all public sections there. We'd have to be careful with the railroad right behind there, as I'm kind of thinking along that would be, because we have to have the good backdrops. And so we're a little limited on where we can go. So we're going to have to start re-looking at some things. The deer have changed their behavior since we have started this. If that answers.
This is always been a pet peeve of mine. We just have too many deer in town. One of them stomped one of my dogs to death, and it was horrible for my family to go through. And that's when I became aware that a lot of people are having this problem. They kill several dogs a year and stomp a lot of different animals, have to go to the vets. And I just ran into Jamie. I forgot her name. At the store the other day, she lived 2 houses from me, and one chased her around the car 3 times and into the house. And it's a problem, and not everybody wants to deal with it. And I really, really appreciate you folks taking that job on. And it's a very necessary, hard work, not fun, but very much appreciated. I can tell you that.
The police department has not really changed the way they've done the data, but they've made it a lot more uniform. So depending on what the call was, it depended on how the officer reported it. And now we have a common way that's reported, so our data is going to be a lot more accurate. So it's not going to be an aggressive deer here and a solid property damage here and collision here. It's going to be more streamlined, so our data will be a lot more accurate as well. And that just comes with the need. I mean, they didn't need to do it in a uniform way, and now that we're using it as data, it has to be collected in a more uniform way.
It's a big job you've taken on, and a lot of facets to it, and I appreciate you taking it so seriously and doing it right. Ma'am?
So I'm glad to see you have brochures. How are you going to distribute them to the public? And another question is, has any thought gone into the future of going into schools and talking to the kids about how to approach deer or not approach deer?
We talked about that in our big plan when we were way excited, like, yes, we were going to have all these educational pieces, and we realized we have to chunk it down into a lot smaller pieces. These were going to be at the DDA, several businesses around downtown. We've talked about putting up these little fancy things. I don't know what they're called. QR codes at different places downtown, so you can read it on your cell phone and get kind of some of the information.
Did they put in an electrical bill?
Yes. Okay, yes. The answer would be yes.
They'll be on the city's website.
And the city website. So we're trying to make them as available as possible. And then I'm a middle school teacher as well, and I think bringing some information like this into the schools would be beneficial. We haven't gone to that degree yet. I think more when we have things in place, eating the elephant one bite at a time.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, the next thing on our agenda is the city manager's report.
Lynn, could I have you come up with me for a second? Put you on the spot. I just real quickly, I just wanted to introduce our new city clerk, Lynn Shearer. And she is an absolute trooper. Just came from Maine, which took 4 days, right? And got here last night, and here she is today. That's a long trip to have a first day be a council day soon. But yeah, so 8 years as deputy city clerk, with your experience, and then over 20 at a banking institution. So she's got a lot of great knowledge and skills, and just really happy to have her. So, excellent. To say anything or nothing, whatever you'd like.
No, I am very pleased to be here. It's a dream of my husband and I to kind of come to one on them. So it's a great thing. I'm looking forward to any event like the both of us.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome.
I guess I'll finish my report up here while I'm here. So I just wanted to let you know, Sergeant Chris Wolperanson, he's retiring here next week, I think it is. He has 18 and a half years at the Rawlins Police Department and an additional 13 years in law enforcement. So he's had just a super full career. Just wanted to recognize him here at this meeting, and if he's listening, or maybe probably not, maybe thank him for that. I mean, that's really an awesome thing. I tried to convince Dan Micah to come tonight because this was his last day. So he's got over 30 years at the city, and that's awesome. I mean, so I don't think I convinced him enough to get him here, but I wanted to thank him anyway. Then also, in just a little bit, when we have the department head reports, Jody and I worked together to put together a calendar for the upcoming budget, and also to align it with our strategic planning, so that by the time we're making our budget decisions, we'll be able to choose those initiatives or specific projects and line it perfectly up with the budget process. So she'll be giving you a copy in a little bit here. Also, so the excitement that we had as we were going through the strategic retreat together, just wanted you to know that is just live and well at the city right now. So right now, actually this morning, we spent some more time going through the rest of the directives, and we are just we're brainstorming. We're coming up with as many possible ideas as we can think of projects that can meet those initiatives. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. And I've given the assignment to all of our department heads to actually talk to every one of their employees and have them go through the same exercise that we did, basically. Where we're just developing these ideas, and then as soon as we kind of get it all together, we'll start to do the same thing that we did. You remember how we did those stickers, and then you prioritize the things that were most important. So we'll do the exact same thing from staff's perspective, and then we'll be putting together, okay, so now we know this is priority 1, 2, 3, or what the staff feels like they can accomplish. Then we'll put together some budget numbers too, and then bring that back to council and say, hey, here's the very best we could possibly do, and look for your feedback at that time. So we're just working away at it. Another thing I just wanted to let you know, we started a safety committee. There's 8 members that are going to be a part of that, and I'm excited for that because I think there was a safety committee at some point at the city. I'm not sure how long we've been without it, but it's really important. There's some different things that I want to discuss. I've asked Blaine Schumacher, there we go, if he would chair the committee for that with his background in emergency services. But I could definitely see us coming up with emergency procedures, doing trainings or drills for the city so that we're creating a safe environment. There's so many different avenues you can go down with safety committees, but just wanted you to be aware we're starting that and off to on the right track there. So it'll be a good thing. And then the different committee members are throughout. It's composed of basically every single department has some representation on it. So, and then lastly, and interestingly, I know that this is kind of a sensitive topic, not to me because I wasn't here, but The fishing pond development was a point of, it was kind of a sensitive thing. So I want to let you know, I met with the developer yesterday. They approached me and asked if I would meet with them and express interest in moving forward with that project. And so I think the best thing that we could do is open up the conversation just wide open. Kind of bring, because I know we have new council members. I know that I have to learn some things about what happened with kind of the development of that project, but I would love it if we could, and if the developer is willing to come to council meeting and share kind of their vision of what they're doing and how that's come to be, kind of bring us all on the same page. And then just have an open conversation of, if the developer is asking for anything and, to be able to accomplish the project, allow them to do that in this open setting. So that would be my recommendation. And that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thanks. Next thing on our agenda is the department reports. So I don't know who wants to go first.
Three firefighters, so police with them heroes too. Okay. Honorable Mayor, Madam Vice, and distinguished members of the council, very excited to be up here today for this evening and do my first get together with you all or briefing. Thank you, Chief Robinson, for taking my training wheels off and allowing me to come here and do this. So I'll make ours down and dirty for you all. Starting off with our call volume. And yes, all of us full people got to do this. All right. So we had a total of 78 calls, if you don't mind if I pull that down, for the month of January. Pretty much 66 and 2/3 of those were all medical calls, which is about par for the course. The Rollins Fire Department did 155 plus hours of training in the month of January. And something that we have now looked at and I've gotten personally involved in is the inspections for the city. Something that was brought up that we looked at as something of an area of concern. The firefighters have a lot to do, but the building inspections is priority for us too. All right, we got to make sure things stay open, things stay safe. We got 16 of them done in January, which obviously you guys know I started in the middle of January, and we put this down to the point where we've already surpassed that for this month, and I expect to have a 50% upgrade on that for February. This has become one of my priorities. So it was an area of concern, and now we've addressed it, and I think we're doing very well with it. I told the young men that do the job, if they need help and I need to go out there and start inspecting buildings with them to get the numbers up, so be it. I've done that before. Now the fun stuff. All right. So what have we done in the month of January or since we've been here? We have now upgraded all of our engine companies to basic life support, which means when they're out, the EMTs can actually go and start emergency medical procedures on somebody if they need to. Before we didn't have any jump kits on there, so we would actually be waiting for an ambulance to come. It was something that was very, very minimal. It cost us no money. We had all the stuff in station to do it, and that is online. That was second only to us getting our certification to put our ambulance online. So to have another advanced life support unit here in the city of Rollins is incredible. That is a major upgrade to the community as far as medical service goes. Okay, that was the two fun ones. So what happened? We had a pipe leak, and it trashed out one of our bathrooms. So the boys came up and said, hey, we need to replace this. I said, okay, get us a contractor, let's get a bid. We got the bid. And I challenged them. I said, okay, all you guys keep telling me that you can build, you can plumb, what you got for me? And the contract bid came in at 3.1K, so $3,100. The boys did it for $600. And the room looked outstanding. One of the things that I know I got a great group of people on the fire station, but that just shows it right there. They didn't even question it. They went out, got the supplies, took care of what they needed to do, and we have a brand new bathroom. So you'll get to come on down, and there you go. You can kind of see that. You may have heard that I got broken hard this weekend for our first fire. It was, thank goodness, there was no life safety involved. Heavy fire load in it. We don't have quite the amount as far as property damage goes. We may not have that for a little while yet.
But we had 16 members of Rollins Fire Department and 6 from the county that showed up. And I was able to sit back and kind of observe, and this was an outstanding operation. I'm very, very proud to be part of an organization that works together like that, city and county together. And as you probably know, nobody was hurt. We didn't lose any equipment, so it was a very successful operation. There's my first briefing to y'all.
Councilman Weisselberg?
I just want to say thank you for the way you guys handled that fire this weekend. You know, there's negative temperatures and, you know, that creates a lot of hazards. You know, I appreciate the hard work you guys
You're
did.
absolutely welcome, of course. More than welcome. That it? Keep smiling. I like it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll trickle with that.
Yes, Dave.
Yes, sir. All right, must be the police officer next. Sure.
Beat 'em up.
Say beat me up?
I heard
Honorable Mayor, members of council, thank you for a little bit of time you give me this evening. Please excuse Chief Palmer, he's on vacation this week and asked me to attend in his absence. As far as the police department report, we received over 1,100 calls in dispatch last month that equated, in addition to that, we also had 463 911 calls that came in. Obviously, some of those are weather related with traffic crashes and stuff on the interstate as well as in town. Of those, we ended up with 423 dispatch calls for service of a criminal nature. And then we had 475 other types of calls for service that are generally officer-initiated contacts where they're going out and doing things without a notification from dispatch. So pretty good effort from those officers. Generally with our staffing right now, we only have 2 officers per shift and they're all staying pretty busy and trying to keep the best eye on the community as they can. We also assisted fire on 32 calls. Most of those were the ambulance calls that they were on. And 45 of the fire department's ambulance calls that they responded to also came into our dispatch center, not going to any of the other emergency communication centers. We had 53 animal-related calls. And then with code enforcement, he opened 22 new cases last month. He was able to resolve 15 of those within the month, which means that whatever the issue was, it was abated and taken care of before the month's end, including derelict vehicles, parking problems, a lot of garbage and refuse issues that he was able to get resolved. And he's really been focusing on with the emphasis that he's heard out in the council meetings with the commercial containers, having the bars in place to avoid the lids from blowing open. He's been focusing on those, and he appreciates the cooperation and compliance he's been getting from the garbage haulers in that effort, and hopes that continues. So that is all we have at the police department. We are sad to hear Sergeant Gilbranson is retiring and moving on to other things, but we also had a new officer start today. Got out of the Marine Corps in May and decided to come back to Wyoming. And I think we're fortunate to have him on board. I got to spend the day with him. He seems like a great young man and is going to be a good addition to the department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
How many domestic violence calls do you have? Do you have that?
I don't have that number on the report. I'd have to get back to somebody on that, but I can tell you it was fairly low. As I recall, we only had less than a handful of domestic violence related cases, but I don't know the exact number right now, but it's fairly low.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I would like to go over the budget calendar with you. So I'm going to have you take one and pass it around.
Sorry.
Okay, so this is a multifaceted budget in a really nice way. Is the items that are just in white are the budget items. If it's shaded in blue, that's part of the strategic planning. And then the light pink or orange down below is for the council. But this calendar is still a work in process because we need some input from you guys in order to finish it. And so what we're looking for is, how do you want to stage departments coming to you to present their budget? They have expressed interest that they would like to. Sometimes in the past, I have seen where they don't, and sometimes they're not allowed to, but I want to give them the option to present to you what their budgets are, and it will focus mostly on the capital items and the projects. And so if you can tell us how, and I'm not expecting an answer tonight, so if you can tell us how you want to proceed with that, such as Public Works is a very large department, will probably take one night in and of itself. And then the other departments, do you want to do special meetings like all in 1 week? Do you want to spread them out, maybe a couple a week and then a few more the next week? And then you'll see that I also have done one where the example is, if you have it from 5 to however late you want to go, and it's not on a Tuesday where you have council, we can order in food. Since you're basically coming from work directly here, you don't have a chance to have dinner, we can cater something in. So it's really, if you guys would let us know, give Sean and me direction on how you would like to handle that, and I can take those dates and plug them into what's here, and we can have a more comprehensive calendar.
Do you have any idea, like a lot of these guys have jobs, and I do too, but a couple of days a week, and it looks like most of this stuff is going to be done in the evenings. Is that correct?
For you guys, yes.
Do you know how many extra meetings in the evenings it might take to get through all of the departments? Because I do want to hear each department and their requests, so because they're more intimate with them.
That might be better answered by somebody else, but in general, in the meeting that we had on Friday, this last Friday, which was our kickoff meeting, I understand that Public Works usually has one night. 2 hours?
Correct. It's been during a work session.
Yeah, and then I think police and fire, about one each, or both together?
Like 2 hours together.
Yeah, together.
About 2 hours together. And then the rest of them are smaller, and so less time. Like
So
you're
like
looking at
3,
your-
4, 5 days total?
I would say maybe 4 or 5 at the max. 5,
Okay.
probably 4. Because some you're not gonna, I'm not gonna give you my budget, so it's not every single department needs to present.
Well, in addition to the 3 or 4 nights with staff, we'll probably also have an additional night with the nonprofits.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that next.
Yes,
So
sorry.
we also need to know, do you want them to come and present, or how do
Absolutely.
you want them to handle that?
I want them, personally, I want them to come in and present. Because we might have questions about what they do and how we can better be partners and such like that,
Okay, and that can be done in one session?
Nonprofits, yes.
I don't know. I'll defer to-
We've done it in one night on nonprofits previously.
So that,
I've seen it where they presented their budget, the different departments present their budgets to us, and then we take another night to talk about what we're thinking, make the changes that we're gonna make. That's one way that we did it. Then the nonprofits, they were on their own. We came in, they gave us their spiel as to, and we usually get reports, but they'll give us their spiel of what they're doing, and like Terry was saying, or the mayor was saying, that we can ask them questions and things of that nature.
So does that mean that they came during a work session, or did they come during a regular meeting,
I think we had a meeting of its own when we talked.
a special meeting?
I Whatever I had in my head flew out. Hang on. Once they present their budget, then there's gonna, I'm not familiar with how the city does it, okay, being new. But what I'm used to is they present their budget, and then eventually we sit down and talk about that budget and make cuts. But when we're making those cuts, I would also like to have them in here at the time, because like if they have a special program that they have to have and they have to pay a yearly fee and we cut it, then it causes, you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that they're involved when we're making the cuts, so that we don't cut something that's an absolute 100% necessity and such like that.
Right.
So
My understanding is that that's the council sort of thing that you do. I don't
Yes,
really
it
get
is.
into that part. Is that right?
But when we do the cuts, I do want the department heads back while we're doing their department, if possible, so that we don't screw something up. Does that make sense?
So are you wanting to have the departments present and have the nonprofits present and then look at
Later on,
afterwards?
yeah, later
So
on,
you have a
as
full
we're
picture.
working the budget.
Yes.
Okay,
If we're
that's what I
gonna
would
be
recommend,
dealing with their department, and especially if we're making cuts, I would want those department heads here to help us guide, so
Yes.
we don't cut something that's iffy with them and, or cut something that's necessary and take something out that we feel, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Or at least
I do the
everybody
same.
knows what's the whole conversation.
Well, that too, but so that we do a better job of making those cuts, because we're probably gonna have to make cuts.
Might upset
Maybe.
them, it might give them a little bit more money, so.
I've done that too. Now, it'll go through,
Yeah,
the
that
budget
too.
itself will go through several iterations, if you will, because I handed the departments their budgets to start on. And then I take the first look at it and I make my adjustments. I'm looking at trends. Does it make sense? Is it too low? Is it too high? I've had that happen. And again, I talk to the departments before I cut anything. And then Sean and I will review it. And we're handling more on the administration side, the regular line items. And then the council will look more at the capital items and projects and stuff. That's where we need you to help prioritize what and how do we work the different projects for the best optimum use of those monies. Sometimes you might want to hold one off because you can add two more that are more, vital, a lot of different scenarios. So that's kind of how that goes. And then after you guys make your final determination, then I wrap it up. You'll see that there are two cutoff dates that I have to hold firm to in order to get it done on time. So for the department heads, I can make no more changes after April 13th, April 15th for the regular budgets. For you, by April 21st, I have to have all changes, all decisions made and done. So I have time to put it together in a proper format and not have to rush. If I have to rush, I'm going to make mistakes. And so then we'll have, when that's all done, it's scheduled now for May 4th, May 18th as the first and second readings. And then Tuesday, June 15th is what I call the official public hearing or the third reading. And within 24 hours of that, we have to adopt the budget. So usually that comes during that meeting, regular council meeting. And then I have to get it to the state. So any questions on that? And I'm trying to make it as easy as possible on everybody. I'll do all the grunt work, as part of my regular duties, and that's what I like. I absolutely love it. So that's my geeky stuff. So anyway, and then that allows you guys to focus on the big items, the more important stuff. Okay. And do you think you could get back to me, maybe email to Sean or something sometime by the end of the week, first of next week, so we can wrap this up and get it out?
As far as dates for the extra meetings, is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, what days you want and what times. Do you want us to cater in food? How do you want to work that? Because that's your time to do what you need, and I want to get what you need. Okay. All All right, that's that. And then I did give you the January's financials ahead of time. I didn't hear if there were any questions. I again took my look at it and everything still looks good. We're still a little bit shy of, you know, the percentage to the whole is less than the percentage of the year that has elapsed, which is a good thing. I'm also working and getting closer to having my spreadsheet done where I do my analytics and can get more particulars and start trend analysis and stuff. So that's in the works. Otherwise, if you have any questions and you don't have any tonight, just shoot them to Sean and he works with us. Otherwise, that's all I have for you, unless you have any other questions.
I don't see anybody with any. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who's next? Danielle, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
So we are doing lots right now at Public Works. We've been doing snow removal. This last weekend, we had a ton of calls for frozen meters or frozen lines. I did put some information out on Facebook, so if anybody wants that or wants to share it, just some different ways to maybe prevent that in the future. And hopefully we don't get as cold as we were last weekend. That would be best case. So you guys will actually see it. Hopefully next meeting, we'll do the bid award for the City Hall fire panel. We're going to get that upgraded. The one here is really old and has not been working properly. We are at 90% design on Walnut and Edinburgh streets now, which are both 6-penny projects. So we are looking really good going into the budget to determine what we can do this year. We have been working with YDOT and legal to get an updated cooperative agreement for our Urban Systems Committee. And that is scheduled, that'll be actually on the Urban Systems meeting on March 10th, and then that'll come to you guys as well. We are making progress at the wastewater treatment plant. We are hoping to have our pumps up and running by the end of next week, which is a little bit ahead of schedule. Still have some things to do following that, but we are making good progress there. We have been working in partnership with code enforcement, community relations, and DDA to work on an annual cleanup. So we're going to do a citywide cleanup on June 5th, and we're proposing to do free landfill days again. And that is on the agenda for next council meeting for you guys to talk about. And that'll be for residential construction and demolition waste for 1 week at our landfill. And then the last thing that kind of big thing that will be coming to you guys soon too is the lease with Fort Steele Pump Station. I'm not sure if you guys recall, but we had the Fort Steele and Sinclair stations. We did abate the Sinclair property and that's been returned to the railroad. So we're just trying to figure out the best way to proceed with the Fort Steele one at this point. But again, that'll be coming forward to you guys. That's all I have unless you have questions.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council. This is exciting. My whole group gets to go to CPR training tomorrow night. I'm really excited about that because we really haven't done that in a long time. So that's a whole group thing. We also, of course, waved goodbye to Dan Micah Hall, his experience that went out the door with him. 2 small boxes and all that brain. That's kind of scary for us. But we're really looking forward to this new gentleman that's coming in the 1st of March. He's got a lot of experience that I think is going to freshen things up for us in the city. Green Spaces got a new team member. Mr. Gage started today. It was his first day, and he's really actually excited to have a job. So he's got a lot of experience. I was really surprised. Snow removal, of course, summer prep. Arbor Day, mark your calendars, and we'll come in with a resolution later, but April 24th, all right? And we're planning some tree celebrations with a lot of partners within the community. The Pro Shop is holding his own. He's kind of winding down. He's on vacation this week and half of next week. summer stuff. He's contacting his old summer usuals and saying, you guys got to come on back because they like you here. So he's working on them. Winter golf, if you have an orange ball and some kind of marker so I know you're out there on the course. Because right now, I don't care where your ball is, but I need to find you out there. Holes 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are open to winter golf. All right? The wind is blowing in your favor for half of those. All right? Golf maintenance. They are working, of course, to prepare for the summer. The season opening is, are you ready? Hold on. April 10, which will be the biggest snowstorm in April. Always has been traditional, so mark your calendar for shoveling one last time. Abe is on board out there and working out really, really well for us. So he's really excited about being in Rawlins. He's in transport from Rock Springs and excited to be here. Rec Center, fitness classes. We're still struggling a little with the COVID, but just so you know, again tonight, Junior Jazz was on one page of Facebook and you were on the other. So it's like, I don't think you got as many likes as we did. Music in the park. I want you to know that we're planning, okay? So that we can push that yes button instead of that no button. Hopefully July the 8th will be the first music in the park. We have a few that we booked last year that still hold a contract with us. So we're gonna try and get Jalen Crossland in and a couple of those other guys that we've had before and have some more Wyoming in our repertoire. We have a new piece of cardio equipment coming at the rec center, new and innovative. It looks really unusual and it's going to be really fun. And it's because we got a rec board grant that we got this. So we're really excited to get this new piece of equipment in and move forward. Thank you. Any questions?
Thanks, Patty.
What is it?
I don't remember what it's called. But it's a cross between a step climber and it kind of looked like one of those ski things that used to be out there, those all trainer things, but I can't wait till it comes in. And, you know, bargain price. So we've got a young lady working for us that can hunt those things down and does a great job for us. So thank you.
Thanks, Patty. Anybody else? All right. Next thing on our agenda is city council reports. Does any city councilman have any other reports they haven't made tonight that they would like to? All right, moving on. New business, approve the payroll. Vice Mayor Wells?
I would like to make a motion to move to approve the January 17, 2021 through January 30th, 2021 payroll register for $222,075.82.
Councilman Smith?
I second the motion.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the January 17, 2021 through January 30th, 2021 payroll register for $222,075.82. Is there any further discussion? Please open online voting.
Online voting is now closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Thank you. The next thing on the agenda is approving the accounts payable. Councilman Smith?
I move to approve the accounts payable register for the period of January 29th, 2021 to February 12th, 2021 in the amount of $318,120.55.
Is there a second? Councilman Durst seconds it. There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the accounts payable register for the period of January 29th, 2021 to February 12th, 2021 in the amount of $318,120.55. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, would you open online voting, please?
Online voting is now closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Excuse me, thank you. The next thing on the agenda is a resolution to approve the 2021 strategic plan. Vice Mayor Wells.
I move to adopt the City of Rollins Strategic Plan 2021 by resolution, setting forth the city's mission, vision, directives, initiatives, and measures of success.
Councilman
Second.
Weisenberg. There's been a motion made and seconded to adopt the City of Rollins Strategic Plan 2021 by resolution, setting forth the city's mission, visions, directives, initiatives, and measures of success. Is there any further discussion? Please open online voting.
Online voting is now closed and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Thank you. The next thing on our agenda is to approve the 2021 annual renewal of liquor licenses. Councilman Martinez.
The mayor, I make a motion to approve the renewal of the following liquor license for the licensing period of April 1st, 2021, March 31st, 2022. Nogs Cuisine, doing business as Nogs Cuisine Restaurant Liquor License number 135. Aspen House Restaurant, doing business as Aspen House Restaurant Liquor License number 101. It's what the Buck, doing business as the Buck Sports Grill Renewal Liquor License number 83. Cappy's J&K, doing business as Cappy's Restaurant Retail Liquor License number 93. Dillon's Companies, doing business at City Market number 12, Retail Liquor License number 84. A&D Martinez Management Incorporated, doing business as County 6 Bar and Grill, Retail Liquor License number 86. Ichiban Japanese Steakhouse, doing business as Ichiban Japanese Steakhouse, Retail Liquor License number 87.
Missed one.
Did I miss one?
7.
Which one?
Number
7.
Number 7, okay. Sorry about that. Hospitality Partners of Wyoming Incorporated, doing business as Econo Lodge Retail Liquor License number 138. And I believe the next one is number 9, which is BOP Alps, number 609, doing business as Alps Lodge, number 609, Limited Liquor License number 78. Next one is Uplift Enterprises Incorporated, doing business as Hole in the Wall Lounge Retail Liquor License number 88. Korean Shrine Temple, doing business as Korean Shrine Temple Limited Liquor License number 104. Next one is Come and Go, doing business as Come and Go Retail Liquor License number 85. Number 13 is Mini Mart Incorporated, doing business as Loaf and Jug number 124, Retail Liquor License number 82. Next one is Christie's Incorporated, doing business as Michael's Big City Bar and Grill, Retail Liquor License number 91. The next one is Nothing to Whine About, doing business as Nothing to Whine About, Retail Liquor License number 96. Rock Creek Hospitality, doing business as Peppermill Bar and Grill, Retail Liquor License number 89. Next one is the City of Rollins DBA, the Ranch Golf Club, Liquor License 131. Next one is Rifleman Club Bar, doing business as Rifleman Club Bar, Retail Liquor License number 59. Next one is Naira, Wyoming, doing business as Rustic Mountain Resort, liquor license number 136. Next one is Shogun's Pizzeria, doing business as Shogun's Pizzeria, retail liquor license number 100. Next one is Yoshink Company, doing business as Stinker Stores, number 213, retail liquor license number 111. Then the next one is Candy Mountain, doing business as Sunnyside Liquors and retail liquor license number 99. Did I
You
miss
missed
one?
22.
Oh, okay, you gotta make them bigger, I think. Stinker Stores Company, I thought I did that.
There's 2.
Oh, I see, there was 2 of them. Doing business as Stinker Stores number 215, retail liquor license number 98. Candy Mountain, doing business as Sunnyside Liquor, retail liquor license number 99. And next one is Some Luck Incorporated, doing business as Tea Cake Spirits and Saloon, retail liquor license number 92. And the next one is Mr. Jack's, doing business as Three Fiddlers, retail liquor license number 95. And number 95. It says and. And then Cotton Tree Management Incorporated, doing business as Turnbuckle Retail Liquor License number 94. That's it?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor and council, I had attempted to modify this motion due to a change that I guess did not sync out. I would ask that the Cotton Tree, the Candy Mountain become a conditional approval, subject to the Wyoming Liquor Division's guidance. So we'd conditionally approve liquor license for the Candy Mountain doing business as Sunnyside Liquor.
So I would change my motion to include Candy Mountain doing business as Sunnyside Liquor. I read it that way, retail liquor license number 99.
And conditionally approve, subject to the Wyoming Liquor Division's guidance.
Subject to the approval of the Wyoming Liquor
Licensing Association.
Liquor License Association.
Division.
Good enough?
Division.
Okay, division. Okay. All right.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
And I'm not gonna read this motion. If anybody wants to know specifics, we'll go back over them.
Waiting for clarification, you may read.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the motion to renew the liquor licenses aforementioned. Noting that one, Candy Mountain Sunnyside Car Wash is a conditional relicensing depending upon the Wyoming Liquor Commission.
Along with Cotton Tree.
And also Cotton Tree.
Just the, sorry, I misspoke, just the Sunnyside Liquors.
Okay,
Thank you.
right. Is there any further discussion?
I just have a question. On number 25, it says, Mr. Jack's Three Fiddlers Retail Liquor License 95 and shouldn't be there.
It's not there now.
When I read it, I was wondering where it was coming from. I was looking for more. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm curious of any reported violations on those, or if they've been solved. Is there?
Oh, like with the state?
Yeah, or within our own police department there too. Sorry, it just come up in my head to.
We do compliance checks where we go in and have minors attempt to purchase at all of our license holders' locations every year. This last year, I'm looking, I don't think we had any violations during, oh, I do see one violation during a compliance check, but it wasn't at the one that's being questioned right now. So, all the other license holders were in full compliance with checking IDs and selling only to people who were of age last year when we performed those compliance checks. And really because of the health restrictions that were put in place on many of the license holders, our total numbers for contacts and calls for service at all the licensed establishments were very low last year. Only a total of 20 calls for service at any of the licensed establishments through the whole year. What's that?
So that's pretty small.
Yeah, it's very low. We know it was a tough time for those. Yeah, we know it was a tough time for those license holders with their businesses being restricted like they were. Overall, we had a very high level of compliance with them with the health restrictions that were put in place, and they do a great job generally when we do our compliance checks where we send someone in to attempt to buy. And year in and year out, we have better than 90% compliance when we do those compliance checks. So they do a very good job. And we appreciate that for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Any questions?
I guess I had talked to Amy a little bit today. Is that in regards for park liquor license? Is that in regards to the County Mountain one with that stuff?
So there's currently 2 licenses that are parked. The Candy Mountain doing business as Sunnyside Liquors, and the second one is the Ichiban license.
Japanese Grill.
The Candy Mountain doing business as Sunnyside Liquors. We do have a question regarding statutory definitions, and so we would ask, or we're requesting that you approve that conditionally upon hearing or receiving a directive from the Wyoming Liquor Division.
All right, thank you. I appreciate the call back too.
Anything else?
I would
Yes.
just like to take a moment to state, as acting city clerk, I actually had very little to do with the liquor licenses, just because we were shorthanded. Annette from the finance department stepped up, and then also everyone in her department also stepped up to help her with her duties. And I just think that that really deserves it was a huge lift on their part, and I'm really appreciative to them for taking on such an important duty for our city. So
Absolutely. Teamwork. It's very well noted.
Thanks, Jody, and your team.
Thank you. All right, hearing no other discussion, please open online voting.
online voting is now closed, and the motion carries with 7 yeas.
Thank you.
Honorable
Yes,
Mayor,
Amy?
May I correct what I just stated? That particular liquor license was unparked on July 2nd of last year. I think I referenced that it was currently parked. It is not currently parked, but we do have a statutory interpretation we need to move forward.
All right, thank you.
All right, no other business to come before this board. I will adjourn this meeting, noting that the next meeting will be March 2nd, 2021. Same place. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, you know, they-
There's always a little bit.
My question.
And so this,
is,
we're gonna say.
Liquor license can run.
You know, you're probably lucky that I'm not around the corner, because you would just have constant chatter on that.
You know where they're gonna.
Oh, I see the meeting's over. What are you doing? Wardrobe commentary.
That's why I put it in front of that. I'm not too close, because it's much louder.